Arsenal 3-1 away at the San Siro over Inter Milan in the Champions League. What a fantastic performance. Top spot secured now of the Champions League group stage. A monumental moment for Arsenal with a heavily rotated lineup as well. So much to talk about. This is the Real Arsenal Deal podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Real Arsenal Deal. Rav here, as always, your host. How is everyone today, wherever you are in the world? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you are well, and I hope you've enjoyed that as much as I have. I am recording just minutes after the final whistle here in Melbourne, Australia. And I've got a big smile on your face, as you can probably tell if you're watching on YouTube. That was really enjoyable. It was just an excellent game to watch. It's just a different tempo to it, right? We are so on edge as fans, as a fan base, watching the Premier League. You know, we ride every tackle, every bump, every missed chance, and every time that we've dropped points lately, we start to catastrophize and think the worst and look at what could have been in terms of the Premier League table. This was just a nice break from that. Of course, we're going to be returning to Premier League action this weekend, and I think Mikel has one eye on that match against United, of course, with a heavily rotated lineup here in Milan. So this was just great to watch. It was just up and down, wasn't it? It was a bit of a basketball match, is the term Arteta uses lately, and it's not something that we're accustomed to. I don't think we particularly enjoy that in the Premier League. I mean, if we got opened up a few times, cut open by Milan, end-to-end stuff in this match, and watching that in the league, it doesn't happen very often, but quite often the result can be different. The opposition can capitalize on those chances, and it's a lot more edgy and nervy watching that in the Premier League than here. But look, I really enjoyed this. We played with a freedom. It was essentially, well, when I say it's a free hit, it wasn't a free hit in terms of Arsenal never approach the games that way. We don't look at a match thinking, we can afford a loss or we can afford to draw and whatnot. The next match is always the most important. That's always the priority. So Arteta and the squad wouldn't be looking at this match as, say, I'm describing right now. But if you zoom out, you look at how we're poised in the table coming into this match. We just needed one win in our final two matches here against Milan and next week at home to Kairat, who, with all due respect to them, of course, we should be putting them away. We should be getting 3 points there, is essentially what I'm saying. So in this match, we could absorb a draw. We could absorb a loss. That's what I was saying. Not that was the intention, just before someone misinterprets what it is I'm saying. But we could go into this match with a sense of freedom as well and just be able to manage players, key players as well. One of the first things I looked at when I saw the team sheet named when I woke up this morning, first thing I scanned over was the defence, because I'm a bit nervous about the minutes put into Timber's legs, a bit nervous about Gabriel, Ben White, of course, who I've spoken about many times. When you start Ben White 3 or 4 times consecutively, as has been shown recently, bad things can happen. And thankfully, when I looked at that back four, I was relieved because Mosquera has started in place of Gabriel, which is brilliant. Timber's gone back to right back, where he's much, much more comfortable for me. And Lewis Skelly is back in. That is fantastic. It's great for Lewis Skelly because we know he's had some challenging moments with his form. He had some challenging moments today even, but you kind of need to find a way. He needs to play himself out of that. He's still so young, of course, and so much football still to come for him. But when you look at how stretched we are in defence and we have a fit, available fullback sitting on the bench in Lewis Skelly, we need to find a way to integrate him, to use him, to not just for his own confidence, but to also help manage the squad and alleviate the pressure on other players. Elsewhere in the squad, saw Marino start, which was great. Eza started as well, who's been a bit on the outs of late. And again, it's just very refreshing just to give him a start, let him work his way into the game. Last couple of substitute appearances, I know there's been the question mark over him, like, has he done enough in those opportunities? But also, is he really been given enough time? Like, he came on, I think, with 11, 12 minutes to go against Forest on the weekend. That's not quite enough time to really impose yourselves. It was just great from back to front, and a start for Jesus as well. Look, the Gyokeres conversation I want to get to in a moment, but before I do, it's great for Jesus as well to be given a start because he has an excellent record in the Champions League too. There's so much football to play. There's so many minutes. I'm not too tied into this whole thing around Gyokeres as centre forward, or should it be Havertz starting straight away? Do we need to get him back up to speed immediately, or should it be Jesus? I'm not as tied to that because I think Arsenal, as a system, we have developed multiple avenues to goal. I mean, it's essentially, in a broad way of thinking, with a modern day version of total football, that great Dutch philosophy, that we have so many attacking threats and qualities that anyone can score. I look at so many times, you see some of the positions our defenders, our fullbacks get into. They're in shot-taking positions on the edge of the box, inside, interchanging 1-2s. Anyone is there to score. So I'm not too concerned if the goals dry up in one particular position, because I look at it as a collective, as a basis, that as long as chance creation is still there, the finishing will come. And sometimes you have games where it doesn't go in, like against Forest, when I think the XG was 2.4, 2.5, and we've ended up not being able to score. Sometimes it just clicks and you smash in goals. When it rains, it pours, as the saying goes, like against Villa in that 15-minute patch in the second half when we scored 4. So I'm not too tied into that. I want to see that continuity of chance creation and that build-up play and players stepping in and out and performing. And that was on display here. It was brilliant to watch because right from the outset, we were on it. For that opening 6-7 minutes, there was an intensity to Arsenal. Saka, with the captain's armband, he played the 90 minutes. He looked on. He was tormenting their fullback. And look, Inter Milan, it's remiss of me not to mention this as well, but they're an excellent team. Very difficult to score against. I think aside from us, they had the least amount of goals conceded in the Champions League so far. They've caused a lot of teams a lot of problems, sitting on top of Serie A. They won a very close match against us at the San Siro 12 months ago. They're an excellent team, and they were largely at full strength. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that they were missing too many key players for this. And when you zoom out and look at the table, I think they needed this win more than we did, if you were to look at it in that respect. So we blitzed them in that opening few minutes, and then the goal finally came, and it came. Maybe the goal itself was a bit fortuitous, but from the way we played in that opening 10 minutes, you can't begrudge us of the first goal of a lead. We maybe took one too many touches actually in that interchange in and around the box. That cutback from Lewis Skelly didn't quite find the target. Timbers taken a shot on his left foot. He looked a bit off balance and has kind of skewed or scuffed off his boot. But Jesus is in the right spot just to poke it home. And how many times have we, and I myself as well, have lamented that sometimes we haven't gambled. We haven't had players in the right position in the box. And this is not to dig out any individuals. There's been a number of players who have been culpable of this, that we haven't gambled on being there in the right positions, because anything can happen. It could be a fumble, it could be a block off the post or off the goalkeeper, and someone just to be positioned there with those instincts to attack the ball and just tap it in. We've been lacking sometimes. So Jesus was there, poked home, 1-0, and we fully deserved it. And we smelled blood and we were searching for more. And look, credit to Inter Milan. They worked themselves back into the game. A couple of moments where they opened us up on the transition as well. A few nervy moments. They targeted Lewis Skelly's flank as many teams quite often do. And that's just something that we're prepared for, that Lewis Skelly needs to be prepared for. And look, he stood up. A couple of moments he got done for pace as well, but he's worked his way back in just to have his body there in the way, a block, a deflection, all those things can make a difference. And look, I like Marcus Thuram. I think he's an excellent player. He's a fantastic footballer. Lautaro Martinez, they've got some attacking threat. The goal itself, when they scored, when they equalised, look, taking nothing away, that it was a cracking finish, absolutely cracking finish from outside the box. Ryan, maybe he saw it late because there were a few bodies in the way. We got defenders back. Saliba slid in to make a block. There was maybe some half-hearted appeals that he's taken out the player. Maybe they would have checked if that was a penalty or not, but nothing really came of that in terms of the replays, because in the same passage of play, the ball is spilled outside the box and he's cracked it home from there. Looking at fair play, it's a fantastic strike. I wonder, upon replay though, could we have got another body in there? Could Raya, maybe if he sighted it earlier, could he have got fingertips to it? I don't know. But look, every now and then it's going to happen. I don't want to read too much into that goal. It did come out of nowhere, though. I felt on the balance of play. I think this was the 18th minute now. I think he scored, yes. 1-1 after 18 minutes. Probably didn't quite reflect the nature of the game, because I think that opening spell from Arsenal, we really imposed ourselves. And then on the half hour mark, this was an excellently done corner routine, by the way. This has to be planned. I mean, there's such a technical nature to the way Arsenal play. Like, everything's very highly skilled, highly coached. This deep kind of corner to the back post, it has to be planned from Saka. So he usually does that in swinger right into the hot spot in front of the goalkeeper. This one, he swung it deep. For a moment, I was actually thought it was too far. I thought, well, geez, that's going to swing. Is it going to go out for a goal kick? But Trossard's there to head it back into the danger area, and Jesus just with a tap in, the headed version of a tap in 2-1. It just looked brilliant when it comes off like that. It just looks absolutely fantastic. Like, and I really enjoy this. I enjoy the I guess the opposition ribbing of Arsenal about being set piece. What's the chant? Set piece FC or set piece ole ole ole? I really love that, because it's like we've got so many angles to goals, so many avenues. It's like us scoring from a corner, a set piece, a header. It really riles them up, and I'm here for it. I love it. It all counts. I mean, I've never heard anyone suggest that a goal from a corner doesn't count. So why not? Why not exploit every 1%, every fine margin we can? Because that can be the difference between lifting a major trophy or not. And well done to Gabriel Jesus. I mean, 2 goals in about half an hour of Champions League football at the San Siro. It's fantastic for him, and we thoroughly deserved our lead at halftime. So there were no changes at halftime. In the second half, we started well, end-to-end stuff. The game looked quite open. I just had that sense that there's more goals in this one. It's just a matter of who is going to be able to capitalize at either end. Inter had their chances. There was one passage of play where they'd be kicking themselves. I thought, I forgot who had the ball, but he held on it for just a fraction too long. Thuram was really drifting into that right-hand corridor. I had the overload. I think it was a 2-on-1 situation. If he played that ball in earlier and Thuram is essentially coming in 1-on-1 against Raya, it could have been different, but they delayed too long. We got players back. We snuffed out the danger. Excellent defending. And you saw their reaction. The players gesticulating towards each other, like frustrated, like, what are you doing? Play it off sooner. So I think we got away with one there. Absolutely. We've worked our way into the game as well. We've gone back and forth. We've had many attacking moments, not quite been able to capitalize. Now, I want to spend a couple of minutes talking about Gyokeres and the number 9 position. As I said before, I'm not too hung up on who is actually in there, because one of the major disadvantages that we've had this season, and a major disadvantage to Viktor Gyökeres, is that he's essentially had to start every minute. Aside from the time when he was injured and we went back to Marino as the number 9, which is still an option, by the way. He can be very effective in the right game settings there. But Gyokeres has not had the benefit of being able to come on as a substitute. When he's had to play from start to finish, he doesn't get that chance to say, okay, throw me on with 15, 20 minutes to go. Let someone else start the match. They do their thing, such as Jesus. He scored 2 goals. Take him off. And then what an amazing thing to have up our arsenal, so to speak. What an option to have from the bench. We haven't been able to do this yet. To throw Gyokeres on against defenders who are tiring, flagging, it's end-to-end stuff. It's going to become more open, more space to operate in, more gaps to work into as well. And just to see what he can do, because we know that as an athlete, he's a physical specimen. He's got pace, acceleration, strength. We just haven't quite seen it on full utilization as yet, for a host of reasons as well. So Gyokeres has come on. We haven't had the benefit of doing that as yet. And straight away, he was an outball. You saw there was one where I forgot who was the Inter Milan defender who basically tried to piggyback him, right? It was a breaking play. Fantastic ball from Saka. Gyokeres was about to spin and turn or lay it off to someone else. He had to. It was a professional foul. He had to stop him, because otherwise we were away then. But a yellow card. He didn't even protest or argue the decision, because I think he knew. He had that guilty look on his face. But straight away, Gyokeres as a physical threat, you saw it was on display. Very different profile as well to Jesus and to Havertz. All 3 of them give you something different, and they keep the opposition guessing. This is why I'm not so hung up that Havertz has to be the 9 or Gyokeres has to be the 9 or has to be Jesus, because anyone, they all have their strengths. They all have their own attributes. And in game states, different situations, are we chasing a goal? Are we protecting a lead? Is it home? Is it away? Is it Premier League? Is it the Champions League? We have so many threats up our sleeve, and it's just brilliant. I mean, just take a look at our bench even to begin with. It's something it was remiss of me not to say before, but with the number of changes we've made to the starting lineup, look who was on our bench. We had White there, who I knew was going to come on in a timeshare with Timber, as it turned out. Mosquera has started. How fantastic is that? Because we can sit down Gabriel. Rice has sat down on the bench because Zubamendi started. Marino started in midfield. Eze has started. Odegaard's on the bench. We have Madueke on the bench, Martinelli on the bench, Gyokeres, Havertz on the bench. It is unbelievable. I have never, ever seen an Arsenal squad with this array of depth and quality and talent. And it's just fantastic if we could keep them together. There's still Calafiori to return, still Hincapié. And I know at the time of recording, it's heavily suggested that Waneri is close to a loan move to Marseille, which is, if that's the best thing for him and he's going to play, then absolutely. Personally, I worry about when Champions League matches start, the knockout stages, and when you've got big Premier League matches on the weekend and midweek away in Europe. I worry about that. I want everyone on deck, but that's probably my Arsenal-related trauma that I've spoken about before, that when I'm a bit of a worrier. So, I mean, at the end of the day, what do I know? I'm just a random with a microphone, right? So if the club feel it's in their best interest to do so, then absolutely. But look at the array of talent we've got. Look at the quality. It is just sensational. Imagine being an Inter Milan player, right? And they've just gone toe-to-toe against one of the best teams in Europe. They're already behind. You see the subs board go up and Declan Rice and Gabriel come on. I mean, it's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. Then we made 2 more changes. We brought on Gyokeres, and Martinelli's been the final sub. For a moment, the name escapes me. Who was coming? White, of course. Pardon me. How could I forget? So it's excellent. We've gone there. We've done the job. Professional display, mature performance, 3 points in the bag, rotated players, rested players, managed the minutes of a number of players. And this part is probably the biggest takeaway I have in this match. And the part that I want to end on is Viktor Gyökeres. Just to go back to what I was saying, he hasn't had the benefit of being able to come on and torment the defenders in a tiring situation, tiring defenders, flagging, and he hasn't had that chance. And boy, did he get it here, because that was an excellent finish, absolutely excellent finish. There was probably too much on the pass, like as he was sprinting forward, running forward. I think it was Saka who was coming in front of him. I think it was too much on the pass from Victor. It kindly deflected back to him, thankfully. And Gyokeres has just gone, nah, that's it. I'm just going to go whack. And he's whacked it from distance, outside the box. Fantastic finish. We've known he has that in his locker again. Haven't quite seen it for a host of reasons, because you don't really get that much space in the Premier League to operate in. So it's on the rare times that you're afforded that opportunity, you got to take it. You got to absolutely grab it with both arms. And Gyokeres did. And you saw the celebrations. You saw what it means to him. So I read a lot into body language and reactions and the way teammates celebrate around each other. Everything I saw for this was absolutely positive. It was immense. This was my moment of the match for me. Watch the way Gyokeres celebrates. The Bane celebration, as a comic book superhero nerd, I can never tire of that. I absolutely love it. I really do. As a Batman nerd in particular, there's something about that. He just gets all the juices flowing for me, right? I absolutely love it. But you saw him. He's pumped. He's screaming into the air. The high fives, the back slapping amongst the teammates. It's brilliant that they all know what this means for him and for us and for Arsenal. Because in the remaining few months of this season, when it's going to be on like Donkey Kong, in 4 competitions, by the way, there's a genuine chance to go fight on multiple fronts and lift glory in multiple competitions. You need every single player engaged. You need them all fit, ready, the mentality, you need them sharp. And to come in and contribute like that, this is massive for Gyokeres. This is huge. If we can have that up our sleeve for Premier League matches, big European matches to come, cup competitions when it's end-to-end, he's got space to operate in. This is fantastic. That's why I don't buy into this whole thing around Gyokeres. He's not up for it. Premier League doesn't suit him. Maybe we need to sell him. It's way too early for that. It's way too early. We're only really just past the halfway point. We're getting to crunch time now in the season. The business end of the season, you need everyone on deck, because there's a genuine chance for something very, very special for Arsenal this season. Carabao Cup second leg semi-final. We're ahead. We're top spot sealed of the Champions League group stage, or whatever they call it now. Sensational. 7 points clear at the Premier League, and let the others panic about us. Let them keep looking up and see our lead grow. I mean, you saw what the pressure has done to other teams. Aston Villa couldn't capitalise. They collapsed at home, and they rarely do that. They have an excellent home record, and they fluffed it. If Arsenal did that, all that bottle talk will start getting banded about it. If we fluffed an opportunity to close the gap to 4 points at home, everyone will be calling us bottlers. You look at Manchester City, they're not the same, as I've said many, many times before. I said it a few days ago in my preview recording. They're not the same. They've just gone away to Bodo Glimt, playing essentially a first 11, and they've been beaten comprehensively there. And they look tired. I know they've got injuries, and Haaland's playing every minute. I mean, let them worry. Let them have their own internal problems. Sure, they're going to buy their way out of situations, as they always do, because there's 115 reasons why they're able to do that. But would you rather be in their position or ours? Absolutely. There's not even a debate. It's not even a conversation. Look how we're poised in 4 competitions. It is sensational. A wonderful, wonderful time to be an Arsenal fan right now. We just got to keep believing, keep focused, because the games come in thick and fast now. A huge test this weekend against United, who, like I said, have said before, they would love to peg us down. I mean, everyone does, right? They have nothing else to play for. If they can stifle us and come to the Emirates and do us at home, that's all they've got, really, them and their fan base. That's all they've got. And Arsenal, we're going to be ready for it. We've rested players here. We've rotated. We've got that momentum, a big away win, the 4th consecutive away match. We're going to, just to get this out of the way as well, a very unique set of fixtures the last 10, 11 days. And we've come out of it pretty unscathed. We've come out really well to come away from Milan with 3 points and top spot secured. Going into a huge match against United this weekend. I am absolutely here for it. So on that note, I will bring this one to a close. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Thank you for all my recent followers and comments and activity. It is greatly appreciated. Keep the comments coming through, please. I read every single word. I love it. If you're listening on audio, please follow the show on Apple or Spotify. Leave me a 5-star review. It will be greatly, greatly appreciated. And I'll be back on in a few days' time to talk about what hopefully is a resounding win against United back in the Premier League. But for now, everyone, just enjoy this moment. It's a fantastic time to be an Arsenal fan wherever you are in the world. So thank you again for watching and listening. Look after yourselves, check in with your loved ones, and come on, Arsenal.